Hi everyone. Hope you all are doing well and having a great Thursday. Before the end of the week hits, I wanted to just give you all kind of a little rundown of what next week is going to look like, and of course what the next couple of weeks are going to look like. Because the 2 weeks after next, we're going to be spending on one text, and of course I'll explain more about why that's going to happen here in just a second. So what I want to do is actually kind of walk you all through some information for the course that's actually inside Course 10 for you. So as always, go to Content. And then for next week, let's find next week. So it's going to be the 12th and 14th. So there are a good number of you that were not in class this week, so I do want to I want to be as clear and specific about everything I'm going to mention as I possibly can be. So next week we are not going to be meeting as a class, physically in Humanities 134. Rather, what we're going to do is we are going to actually have one-on-ones next week. One of the things that you may have noticed that I discussed early on, like first day for the course, but it's also listed in the syllabus. All of you will have a one-on-one with me throughout the semester, and I specifically have these designated to happen next week. So starting on the 12th throughout all the way through Friday, there's availability that you all can choose. And all you have to do is click on this particular sign-up link. It takes you to a doodle poll. And I have pretty much opened up a good bit of my calendar, especially Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, a good bit of time, and I have a little bit of time on Tuesday that is available for you, where you can sign up, or you need to sign up to meet with me for our one-on-one. This is a portion of your grade. It is worth 10%. And if you sign up for this and show up to our meeting, you will absolutely get a 100 off the top, regardless of how the conversation goes. I like doing these because I want you all to, one, get in the habit of meeting with a professor and asking them questions and talking with them about coursework. This is really, really important, and I know that it's something that can often seem a little scary, and that's actually the other reason why I do it. I want you to get practice with this and kind of know what it's like to meet with a professor and recognize that it's not quite as terrifying as you often think it is, or it's not as nerve-wracking as you might often think it is. So do make sure that you go in here, click on this link, go to the doodle poll, select a time, and what I'll do is once I know you've selected a time, I get email notifications of that. I will schedule the Google Meet, and I will send you a Google Meet link for the day and time that you selected. Make sure to keep in mind it will be virtual, it won't be face-to-face. So just make sure to sign up for that, and that is going to be next week. All you have to do is sign up for the meeting, attend the virtual meeting with me, and that's it. Now, for the following 2 weeks, I do want to break those down for you really clearly. So again, we're in week 10. If you scroll down, click on week 11. Our film text for the next 2 weeks, so for week 11 and for week 12, is going to be The Godfather. I mentioned in class, I know I mentioned it yesterday to the Wednesday group, but I don't know if I mentioned it Monday. There are certain films in this class, and to me, The Shining is one of them, that are more meat and potatoes, meaning if I'm going to teach a film class, there are certain things I want to expose you to, and I need to expose you to, and The Godfather is one of them. It is considered one of the best films ever made. It is a really very classic film, and there's a lot of really interesting things that happens within this film that deals with identity. And specifically, whenever you're watching this, I want you to really think about identity through relationships and how relationships and family, in many cases, can help. Some can help a person develop who they are and, of course, who they ultimately become. So what you're going to do for week 11, again, this will be the week of the 19th. You will, of course, make sure to watch the film. I will go ahead and warn you, the film is long. It is just shy of 3 hours. But you all will not physically meeting next week, so you have this upcoming weekend, a good bit of time next week because we're not meeting, other than just to meet with me one-on-one, and then the following weekend after that. So you've got a good bit of time to watch this. If you need to watch it in chunks, you can absolutely do that. But make sure that you do watch it and make sure that you take notes, because for the week of the 19th, you will have a quiz. This quiz will actually open up on October 14th, and it'll be available until the 19th, so that Monday at 7 a.m. is when it will close. Please make sure that you watch the film, take the quiz. If you'd like to look at the trailer, you absolutely can. And also keep in mind during class the week of the 19th, we're also going to be talking a little bit more about the final project guidelines when we discuss in the podcast a little bit. I'm also going to discuss this with you during your one-on-ones, but I want you all to kind of I want us to have some class time to discuss it and do Q&A and things like that. That'll be useful to you. So again, that's going to be week 11, but that's where we're going to be discussing the film for week 1. During this week, our discussion in class is going to be very kind of broad and kind of just breaking apart and picking apart a lot of the film. Because one of the things you'll find if you haven't seen The Godfather, there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of action, and there's a lot of things that I will want us to really kind of talk about in depth so that we can get the most out of our discussion. And then for week 12, which will be the following week, that's going to be the week of October 26th. That is going to be, we're going to continue our discussion of The Godfather, but we're going to do something a little different. So what we're going to do is you will have an article to read. It'll be very brief, like the other articles we've had for class. This one's really interesting because this one is going to directly tie into the discussion board that you're going to have for that week. And again, you'll see the opening date and the due date here. Make sure that you keep in mind that this is going to be due during the second week. So don't feel as though you have to watch the film, do the quiz, read the article, do the discussion board all in the same week, because you don't. We are doing a lot of work with this film, but one, it's a long film. Two, we're breaking it up over 2 weeks, so I want us to try to get as much out of it as possible. Every time I've taught this film, students across the board really do enjoy it. So I'm hoping that you all do as well. So again, for the week of the 26th, what you'll want to do is we'll come into class, we'll continue discussing The Godfather. We're going to be focusing that week specifically on scenes. So as you're watching through the film, you're taking notes. Make sure to kind of pay attention to certain scenes that maybe pique your interest, and know that we can always discuss those. And also during this week, read the article, and of course use the article. It'll aid our discussion in class, which will then lead into your discussion post for that particular week. All right, let me get this back over to me. Okay, so I know that's a lot, but I wanted to try to give you all kind of a comprehensive overview of not just what next week's going to have in store, but also the 2 weeks after that, because we're going to be spending time on The Godfather and spending those 2 weeks really detailing it and doing a good bit of work with it. If you have any questions about anything I've mentioned here, please let me know. I did share my screen, of course, to kind of walk you through, but I know, again, I gave a lot of information within all of that. So please let me know if you have any questions. I'll, of course, be reminding you of things in class. Do make sure to try to attend class if you can. Again, if you can't, let me know. And of course, you'll have content available here in the course that you'll need to complete. But do reach out to me if you have any questions about our course, other courses. And the biggest thing I would ask that you do now is, if you haven't already signed up for a one-on-one, please make sure to do so. Pretty much whenever I'm getting the email notifications that someone has signed up, I'm going into my calendar, scheduling the Google Meet, and sending you the link immediately. So the sooner I get those in, the quicker I'm going to be able to get those meeting links to you so you can have it on your calendar for us to meet. I look forward to meeting with all of you next week. I'm excited I'll be able to meet with you in real time without masks on. It's going to be kind of nice to be able to see y'all's faces outside of the videos that I've been seeing. And one other thing I do want to mention too, during our discussion next week, we're going to be discussing this class, we're going to be discussing other classes, and we're going to be discussing the final project. But within discussing our class, my goal this weekend is to get every bit of grading caught up. So the discussion boards that you're turning in today for Get Out, my goal is to try to churn those out and get you feedback before we start one-on-ones next week. It's a bit of a lofty goal for me, but I'm going to do my very best to get those back to you with comments and get grades averaged and as up to date as possible, so that when we talk, I'll be able to really give you a good glimpse of where you are in our class currently. All right. So again, if you need anything, please let me know. Take care of yourselves, get some rest, and I look forward to seeing you all next week during one-on-ones. Thanks.